In this video, we are going to see how we can create an interactive prototype for a digital product using one of the popular prototyping tools called Figma. There are other tools in the market like Balsamic. Uh, Most of this prototyping tool work in a similar way. One of the advantages of Figma is that it is a collaborative tool. That means multiple people can use this tool simultaneously and work simultaneously on a particular project. So you can create a free account in Figma and you can create a team in Figma, like here you have seen creating a team. You can add more teams. However, for a free version, only a limited number of teams is allowed to be created. And within a team, you can create projects. Like here, I've created a project, and in that, under that project, I've created a simple prototype for an online grocery app called Salt. So let me first show you the output of the prototype, and then I'll get into how this can be created. So if we open this consists of a series of frames. These square boxes that you see over here, they are called frames. And on the left-hand side, you will see all these frames created. Now, these frames indicate a user journey map. If you have looked at our earlier sessions on product development, one of the important aspects of digital product development is to create user journey maps. And user journey map starts with a user journey goal, and it works backwards, identifies the features that lead to the user journey goal. And each of these features in turn has different user stories. These are fundamental principles of creating a user journey map, which we have discussed in other sessions on digital product management. So I'm not elaborating this over here. Now, once you have created this user journey map and prioritize the user journey goals and the user journey maps and the features, you put that in a tool like Figma to get a visualization of how this user journey map is going to work when it is actually put in an app. That is the purpose of an interactive prototype like Figma. Few principles you must remember that the last frame will be the user journey goal. So the one that I have considered is the classical user journey map for a purchase process. We have seen this classical user journey map for a typical e-commerce product, but in the interest of everybody, I'll just repeat this over here through a small diagram. So let's consider a user journey map for purchase in e-commerce app. So the user journey maps can be quite involved, but in the interest of time and to make things simpler, I'm going to consider a very simple user journey map. So the user journey map, the end point of user journey map is a user journey goal. So in this particular case, the user journey goal will be a purchase. And then we have to see that what are the features that will lead to the purchase. That is, what are the key activities the user will do to that will lead to the purchase of the product. Remember, one user journey goal can have multiple user journey maps, which means that there can be multiple paths to achieve the same user journey goal. Let us take one simple, straightforward path. some people prefer to walk it backwards, some people prefer to walk it forwards. Depends on your choice. I can walk it backwards. So before purchase, maybe make payment. Then can we select products? Search products. So I can say these are the 4 main features. You can call it feature 1, feature 2, feature 3, and feature 4 that will lead to the user journey goal. Let's select this. Now, as I said that there can be multiple user journey map that can lead to the same user journey goal. In this particular case, the path of feature 1, feature 2, feature 3, feature 4. This path is a user journey map. And there can be multiple user journey maps that lead to the same goal. You may ask that what can be other ways of a user reaching the same goal of purchase. There can be many. For example, instead of searching products, there can be a recommendation engine. That will give the user a set of recommended products, and the user can select based on that set of recommended products. So in that case, this path will be another user journey map. So just for ease of understanding, let me just color it a different color. So this one is another user journey map. You can call this. And similarly, let's say instead of selecting products, somebody might have ordered before and they want to reorder the same set of products. So I can have another user journey map which says reorder, and then make payment and then purchase. This can be my user journey map. So like that, as a product manager, you have to visualize the different ways by which a user is likely to get into this user journey goal and draw as many user journey maps as possible. There is no one rule for this. As you experience the development of more and more products, you get good at this. So there is not any list which says that if you are building an e-commerce app, these are the set of user journey goals, these are the set of user journey map, and you just copy and paste from there. That's not what is possible, and that's where the creativity of the product manager lies. That he or she can visualize all the possible user journey goals, features, and the user journey map that constitute the feature. Now, once you have done this, you have to select the user journey maps that you have prioritized for a particular release, let's say for MVP, and then you convert this to an interactive prototype. Now, as I said that while you are developing an MVP, you may need to prioritize at every level. That means you may need to prioritize the different user journey goals. Within the user journey goal, you may have to prioritize the different user journey maps. Within the user journey map, there may be some cases where you may have to prioritize certain features, and within a feature, you may need to prioritize the user stories that constitute the feature. Remember that when you have taken one user journey map, you will create the prototype only for that user journey map. So do not attempt to create a prototype for the final product that your app is going to look like. Because then this will become too cumbersome, complicated, and it will become very disorganized. So your first prototype, which is mapping one particular user journey map, we talk about only that user journey map and nothing else. As an example, let's say registration is another user journey code, and there's a separate user journey map for registration. Now, in the final product, the registration button will be there. But when you're developing a prototype for a user journey map related to purchase, where registration is not a part of the user journey map, then the registration button will not be there as a part of your prototype. When you develop different sets of prototypes for each of these user journey maps, after you have done the prototypes for each of these user journey maps, you then aggregate them together and bring them together into one app. So that's the process. Don't try to put everything, all the features within the app at the first go. Then things will be very cumbersome, things will be very disorganized. Will not be able to prototype in an organized fashion. So the example that I'm going to show, I'm going to take this user journey map 1 and show how you can make an interactive prototype in Figma. Even within this user journey map, there are various steps. I have deliberately shortcut some of the steps because again, that may become complicated. The idea is to understand how it works. When you're actually developing it, you have to take every nitty-gritty into consideration while you're developing the user journey map. In this explanatory video, the objective is to know how to do it, not the details of it, because the details of it will require much more time and it will require various type of experts like graphic designers, etc., who will be able to make this a full program. So let us now get back to our Figma and see how this user journey map can be demonstrated. So here we are. And if you see that the user journey map that we have discussed is captured in this frame. So these boxes are called frames. And you see the endpoint of the frame is a confirmation of purchase. That means you get an invoice of what you have purchased, which is the last frame over here. You see confirmation. And that is, if you click hover over here, it will show you this frame. And this is the final frame. And before that, you see this is the frame where you have the purchase as a payment. Okay. Now, payment usually happens in a third-party application, not the application of the e-commerce platform. Usually, it's a payment gateway where your payment is happening, and that's why it shows a third-party payment gateway. It doesn't have the logo. Yeah, in the prototyping phase, you don't need to prototype what the third-party application will look like, because that's not in your control. That's what the third-party application will give. You only prototype what the activities that are going to happen in your app. So the actual payment is not going to happen in your app unless your app also has an inbuilt payment gateway, which only very large apps like an Amazon will have. But otherwise, most apps will require a third-party payment gateway. So there you don't need to really visualize what your third-party app will look like, because that's something third-party app is going to depend. And before that, of course, as a part of the payment, you have to have the shipping and billing. So shipping and billing is here taken as a part of the payment feature. Now, depending on how complex the feature is, you can make it a separate feature or you can make it a part of the payment feature. How granular your features will be, that depends on the complexity of the features or how many user stories you can think of within that feature. If there are too many user stories under a feature, the feature becomes too bulky. If there are too few user stories within the feature, then the feature is too light. So then you have to have a judgment as to what you will aggregate as a feature. Again, there is no one rule for that. Okay, as you experience developing your products, you know what should be the level of granularity at which you should define the features. And before that, you see there is a cart, which is basically the selection. So you have selected the product. So this is where the cart frame is. And then you have the search, which is basically the first feature. Search, select, pay, and purchase. These are the four features. Each of them consists of different frames. Once these frames are built, and we'll see how these frames can be typical. It's pretty easy to build. It's just like in your PowerPoint, you draw some lines and some pictures. It's exactly the same one, except that tools like Figma has some more flexibility in terms of designing the UI. Okay. And typically that's left to the UI designers to work out the details. As a product manager, probably will not get into that level of details in terms of designing the UI. But it's good to know the flow of it. So here you see that there is something called prototype. So let me first play this interactive prototype, see the outcome, and then I'll explain how this was played. So here you have the option to play. Once you click on this, you see that the prototype of exactly an app comes up. Okay. And of course, you can make it better. Now note that in this particular user journey map, I have not provided any other features that are not a part of the user journey map. Okay. This is to ensure that the user journey map is kept clean in the prototype, and the product manager can clearly visualize what is happening in the app as far as that particular user journey map is concerned. As you build more and more user journey map, you need to consolidate this into one app. If, for example, let's say later on you decide to have a recommendation engine, you might have some recommended products down below. But here I have just given some static images, but I have not used that as a part of the user. Okay. But remember that those things have to be consolidated, and that's the pretty complex exercise, because if you consider all the user journey map and consolidate that into one. Here the purpose is to show how to build the basic user journey map within Figma. So here you have the option of category and brand. You can search by category and brand. Now you can see the drop down over here, and you see this gray line hovering around. So suppose once I've filled up which category and which brand I want to search for, and click on the search button, it will take me, just looks like actual app. It will take me the set of products that satisfies the category and brand. And let's say I can decide to select some of these products and add them to cart. And once I've added them to cart, that's a selection process. I will proceed further, and I have my cart over here. So I have gone from the search to the select to go to the user journey map. So it shows me the products, their the description of the product, the image of the product, the price, and how many units I have added to the shopping cart, what is the total price, and what is the grand total. And now comes the payment part of it. So I'll proceed over here. And at any point of time, note that if I want to go back, I just have to tell this like any other app. If you tap on the logo of the company, it will take you to the previous step. So it's like this, it will take me to the previous step. Okay. So here, if I proceed, I get the cart, and once I proceed, I put the shipping details and billing details, and then I go and pay. Remember that moment I say pay, it is going to actually the user is going to be taken to the third-party payment gateway, unless the app has its own payment gateway. And exactly the same thing will happen over here. It will take the third-party payment gateway. As we discussed that we are not going to design the UI of the third-party payment gateway, because the UI of the third-party payment gateway is designed by the third-party payment gateway. We don't have the for that. So we just give the basic information, credit card number, etc. And we know that once we complete the payment, it takes back the payment gateway, will automatically take me back to the final state of the user journey map, which is the purchase, okay, which means that you show me the invoice. So once I say pay, it will show me the final invoice and my user journey goal is reached and my user journey map is completed. So when this particular prototype is shown to the product manager, the product manager can visualize actually how this user journey map is going to look like when an app is built. And accordingly, the product manager can provide inputs if any additional thing needs to be added, maybe something to do with the design, maybe the fonts are not okay, maybe certain steps are missing. So the idea is that while till now the product manager was only imagining and created the user journey map, now he or she sees how it's actually going to work on an app, and then that will trigger more ideas in his or her mind as to what are the gaps in the user journey map or any additional features need to be added, etc. So this is the outcome of how a prototype is built for one user journey map. Similarly, when you're designing a product, you have hundreds of such user journey maps. For each one of them, such prototypes have to be designed separately. Then they have to be combined. So as you can understand that this is a pretty involved activity that typically has to be done by the product team. We are now going to see how this was built. So this is the outcome and how this was built. So now let me go back to the original one and see how this was built. So the first thing to do is to create these frames. So each of these boxes are called frames, and here you see there are frames over here, and we have each of them as a frame. So how do we introduce a frame? So here you see icon for a frame, and if you go here, you will create a frame from here. The moment I create a frame, okay, it will tell me the format in which I want to create a frame. As you can see, there are different formats of different types of phones, different desktops, tablets, etc. So whichever format I want to design, I will choose that frame. For example, if I want to design in the format of an iPhone 14, that means how my UI will look at in iPhone 14. I select a frame of iPhone 14, and the size is taken in such a way that it exactly resembles the iPhone 14. So this way, it is easier for me to visualize how I should put the different elements within the frame so that it comes alive as if it was an iPhone 14. If it was something else, I would have selected some other, like a desktop or some other mobile phone. I would have selected a frame for it. And within the frame, now I have to design all of these features. Okay. Now, I don't need this frame, so I'm going to delete this. I don't want to clutter this existing one, so I can just delete it over here. Now let us see the first frame, the home frame, and what all I have done over here. Now, as you can see, there's something called lock symbol. Lock means that once you have completed the frame, you can lock it. This will ensure that you do not make any changes by mistake. As I said, Figma is a collaborative tool. You have multiple people who can work on the same set of user interfaces. You can add a team from here. So if you want to have other members collaborate with you, we can invite other members from here. So you can add other members from here, and they can collaborate with you on working the same project. So in such a scenario, locking the frame is very important because it is possible in a large project, different UI designers are working on different frames, and it must be ensured that the work of one is not by mistake interfering with the work of the other. So in that case, if you're finished working for frame, it is a good idea to lock that particular frame so that no inadvertent edits happen on that frame. So let us go back and check how within the frame you can build the elements. Just for demonstrating this to you, I'll just unlock this. So here you can see that this particular element is a category, and within a category, I have created a few things. I've created a text box, I've created a rectangle, and I've created a vector, which is this picture. Okay. Now, how do I make all of this? Very simple. If I want to make a text box, all that you have to do is to create a rectangle over here. And within that, if you want to make a text, all that you have to do is to click on the text and write the text with this. You'll require a little bit of formatting. So on the right hand side, you see it's very similar to if you have worked on Photoshop or similar other tools. It's very similar to this. There are different types of layers and different types of formatting, whether you want to use the text, uh, you can format it on the left, right, center, and align it. So all of this kind of formatting is required. You can try all of this, but usually again, this is a very detailed work, which is best left to a UI designer who has thorough detailed understanding of each of these formats. Normally, a product manager will not get into that level of detail of designing the exact layout, but it's a good thing to know. And if you're interested, you can definitely practice on all of these different formats. Then these are vectors, these are symbols, so you can do that. And if you want to, for example, upload any images, for example, I have done this. Under this, I have uploaded an image. So this is just to make sure that it doesn't look very empty. So this image may not really be there at the when the final app is designed. This place might be taken by some other features. As I said, that this particular thing is only this particular prototype is only for one specific user journey map. But just to make sure that the frame doesn't look empty, blank, you may want to fill it up with some suitable images. Here I filled up with some random images of certain products. And how do I do that? Very simple. Here you go and you see place image or video. So here you can just upload an image. I can just upload an image from my desktop. Okay. And that's exactly what I've done. So similarly, the same way, let's say you want to build the search button. So where is the search button? This is over here. So you see, you can group together each of this frame. You can bring the individual elements under one frame and group them together. That's a good idea. So that if anything needs to be changed, it can be changed only in the frame. Now this frame has a text, which is search, and a button, search button. Search button is again very simple to design. I can just use a rectangle to design the search button, and in the rectangle you have options of making it round, and also you have the different effects where you can shadow, you can have rounded feature, you can have different colors, all of these kind of things you can do. Okay, and this way each of these frames have to be carefully designed. So let's lock this. It's always a good idea to lock this, and each of these frames need to be carefully designed. It requires meticulous attention to details. Otherwise, it's not a very hard thing. Conceptualizing it is not very hard. What is hard is conceptualizing the individual map. Once you have done this, you have to link the frames. Because remember that when I showed you the interactive wireframe, I clicked on the search button, it took me to the other frame. So where does this interactivity come? So in order to develop the interactivity, you have to go to the other tab, which is called the prototype. If you go to the prototype tab, you see lines over. So these are the interactive. It's very simple. I just have to draw a line from here. So if I have to create an interactive thing from a certain element to another element, I just have to draw a line from that element to the other element. So here I have to draw a line from this to from one element to a frame. Okay, that's what I have to do. Okay. So draw a line from one element to this particular frame. And this will be created. And there you can define that how this navigation will be. Will the news stream come from the right or it will come from the left? So you can say how will this happen on drag or while hovering, and how will the frame come like, whether it will come from the right or come from the left. You can navigate. So you have this ease in, ease out. Okay, so these are the options that you can do. It will show you from which place is going to come, the right or the left. So here, for example, you can see I selected move in, and the next frame will move in from the right. Okay. This one is moving from the left. So normally, if I am moving from moving forward in the user journey map, frame should move in from the right. Okay, into the left. Okay. If you see a normal app, also that's exactly how it works. On the other hand, let's say if you click on this, so it shows that if you click on this logo, it should come back to the home screen. And if you look over here, it will say movie from the right. So that means this screen is going to come from, sorry, moving from the left and go to the right. So this screen is going to, so this arrow, this screen is going to come from the left and move in the right. Whereas if I look at this, it is just the opposite. It is this. See, it is move in from the right to the left. Okay. So these are some of the settings that you need to do to give it a natural feel of how exactly screens move in the app. Okay. Once you have designed more this, your basic prototype Figma is ready, and you can start playing this the way I did it. And it will show you how this app is going to look at. Very well. When you're actually watching this. Okay. Right? The home page. Okay. So this is how you can develop a basic interactive prototype using Figma.